Hello and welcome. It is the end of the 24th day of December 2018. My name is Derek and I'd like to welcome you to the Money Charts channel. And as I've stated before, when you have a good setup that doesn't transpire, you do have to be very aware of a fast move to the downside, and if that's the case, a fast move hasn't occurred yet. Looking first amongst Dash crossed events against Bitcoin because it really tells the story well within the whole cryptocurrency market as a whole. You establish resistance, you come back and you do all of this nice little choppy stuff, making a lower high. That's fine because of the correctionary band. It could have went, it did go a little deeper, and it was successful for quite some time amongst such. And then for 3 periods showing strength amongst the 18 of highs, breaking out and retesting the previous level. And that's that point I talk about that I don't like the U-shaped formation where you're in a nice uptrend. You have your nice correctionary move and a good move quickly up to that last level, and pretty much every time you get to the high, you've come along a good ways, at least on the short-term level. So you're like, okay, what's it going to do here? Is it going to go sideways for a bit? Are we going to get a small correction down to here? Obviously no for either one. Is it going to go way higher and just have a big break? If after all, if resistance or support doesn't act as such, that means big carry on within the trend. Well, none of that happened. Rather, on the move lower, it obviously did not correct amongst here. Now it can still hold and stay above this level. That's still in the realm of possibilities, but definite concern that this could definitely roll over. Even if it does start to show momentum, it still has now got to get above the area of where the 18 highs is just to end what is now turning from neutral, or excuse me, bullish into that of neutral, if it is able to regain and get above what the neutral line would be, which is around the 22 handle. Amongst such on the daily, it's already had 18 high test in here. There's a move higher from such. 18 lows is rising amongst this level. This is the key area I've talked about so many times, that when it has a break from a downtrend and establishes a level of resistance where it needs to hold. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to have further decline, possibly to the 18. But again, the setup for the market was showing a lot of strength up here, getting above such, was unable to make a new high here, and then the most important part where it needed to short term was correct successfully here, and obviously unsuccessful. Moving on to the Bitcoin against US dollar cross. And we'll start with a single hour, leaving the 18 average of lows after it fell through there at 10 o'clock in this morning. So just like in Dash, we come up, we find support here, back to this little area, doesn't break through. This was a very normal spot if it's going to go from point A low, fast move, and this was a really fast move to this high. Have this type of correction, don't know what to name it. It's not obviously a down correction because it's going up, and it's not a sideways one, but it's like a sideways one that grinds higher. So whatever name you want to give that, which is what it had. So when you have a situation of that kind of correction, then you follow through with a very solid, but anything more than just the minimum needed for a price correction, because it goes to the lows. And if you break out above that, thus making a very good higher low from point low to this level, which it was the case, the odds of breaking this out is extremely big. Big setups, big probability odds, when they're in your favor, they don't happen in these markets. This is what I learned through trading, because when I started trading the traditional markets, the day trading, it'd be so common for me to see, oh, it's breaking out, and then the opposite would happen. And yeah, I learned through losses that when a good setup, a situation appears and it doesn't transpire, you can have some vicious moves in the opposite direction. So after this little correctionary move from this low, just like this, how it grinded its way up, this was the complete opposite of this, and then that's followed through with a very large red candle on such red 4-hour time frame. it almost seems poised now to at least come down to the 37. And just like Dash on the daily term, we've been at the 18 lows. Now this highs, rather, this is the first time it's been there, but it's been in this general area. Right now, we just put up the numbers. It's for the day, the 18 lows is set in at 3,585. So below 3,600 and is the key little level that I'd really like to see that market hold. And definitely if it pierces down to this 3470, that's still a higher low, but that's what this comes down to within this move. Long downtrend, you finally make a statement and attempt to revert the trend. These bear markets can be very difficult or take a lot of time to heal or to get that reversal in times. So for this to take some time and either go sideways or even for this to be that of a failed breakout and thus a fast move to the downside, which because this low was a good pierce above 3,000 at around 3,150. That means if it breaks it out, I'm going to be looking for it to noticeably go below 3, probably somewhere near $2,618. When I look at the markets and I sort it by percentage moves, and this is just a bunch of altcoins as well. When I look at the big gainers, you got Populous, AID. I got to put this one up. That's a good chart. Then you got the reverse US dollar up 5 2/3. Doji is up 1 6, but that's only up 1 basis point, so it's breaking even. Then you got your gold and silver and Litecoin, Ethereum cross. Which one is doing better lately? And 0.5%. It happens to be Litecoin. And these are just marginal break-even moves with Swarm City token and PivX. But if we go to the top decliners and percentage moves, and this is only since the last 3 hours, because every time at 7 o'clock it resets the data. We got Strat down about 8%, Loom down about 6%. And this is against Bitcoin, so that's additional from this 5, little over 5 that Bitcoin is down to. Myth is down 5, Litecoin is down 5 against the dollar. VIA is down 5, ICX is down 5, Decred's down 5. Lend is down that much. Verge is down 4 1/3. Raven is down 4 1/4. Digibyte's down 4 1/9. Binance Coin and Steam is down a little over 4. AGI down almost such. Monetary Unit. So most of these are noticeably down. So I showed the crypto coin market cap going from 100 to about well over around 150. So it's definitely having a noticeable retracement as the global markets are at least having the bullish correctionary phase, because I'm just going to draw quickly because so many charts share the same pattern where you're in a downtrend. You've had your bearish correctionary move. And when I say this, that means you are in a downtrend and you're basically making what could be lower highs. But with a lot of coins coming before that, this entire move that's been going on has been correctionary from the last several years. So a lot of coins, when they've made their lows this year, are doing better than where they were in like 2016, at least for the coins with a longer history of it. So now from this point on here, is it going to be a successful correction from this point in this level? Thus, you have something like your cup and handle formations. Maybe some will show inverted. But if you have the breaks lower, then that's not the largest of surprises either. We'll see what the market shows and go from there. Now within AID, this has been a very interesting day to say the least, because whenever you have markets that go from 515 go up to 765, so that's 30ish or plus more percent, and then well over 700 back down to 600. So that's a loss of well over 20%. And I myself was able to sell up here. I don't got my drawing tool on well, but sell up here. I bought back somewhere here, and I just sold somewhere here. So it's all good. And when I see these types of markets, historically, does it look like it's going to continue to do so? Well, after seeing this move in here, I was sold. I literally was sold, historically speaking. I mean, if it could do anything that resembles what happened in August like this, it's pretty cool trading. And to finish this off, let's just take a quick look at the top losers very quickly, scrolling through within the 4-hour term time frame. Starting off with Verge, we can see how it's had a significant break, ending this trend that has been going on for several periods. Strat, this is just having a nice little comeback. Great little move, and still can find support in here. But for me, it doesn't. These are the codes I really can sleep easy with, although I always pretty much sleep easy as it is anyway. But saying that in the sense that I've sold a lot up here, and I really haven't been able to buy back, given this is the only correction. I don't even think I made a buyback there. So if it goes down in here, well, I'll be buying more. And if it goes up, I'll get more Litecoin because I'm crossing this not against Bitcoin, but against Litecoin. But during this move higher, just like I would have with Bitcoin, getting a bunch of sell orders, the same was true against Litecoin. Let's just move on again. Loom, there's that nice little trend and a very, very spike lower. The Myth coin, we're looking at the possibility now of that failed breakout fast move higher on this particular move, because this was the opportunity. Got above this level of resistance. That's very strong. Nothing wrong with going from 2028 high as it did and coming back to the 1900 level, and even piercing below that, which of course it did here on the 11 o'clock session. But then you have this small green candle lower high and a significant red move. Not only taking it to the 18 lows, which is where it's camping in at now, but it's already now came back down to this level of support. So therefore, even shortening these types of stuff out, well, maybe that's a little too short. But single hour term time frame, just a fast move, little bit of a correctionary move up, nothing to get too excited about. Via, another decent size red candle down, but when you're trading, only price pays. So you sell up here, which I did, and you can buy back. And I don't think I got the sell up here though, so I won't be buying until I guess it comes down closer to 800 or below for now. And I'm trying to think of what I'm trading it against now, and I'm guessing I'm trading it against the Bitcoin. ICX, I'll be getting out of this if I haven't already, and I got out of 2 or 3 just because some of these markets are just pretty bad, and I'm selling a whole bunch of Binance coins soon anyway. POA I already have sold, and a lot of red candle moves down. Decred, decent size move. Everything happening so fast. Lend, this is a global move. I've already went over Verge, I think. Raven coin, significant move, but lots of good short-term choppy action. You only pick away at a decent percentage points. But you're seeing on here within spots of 370 up to 403, down to 384, up to 410, down to 394. But you're still getting 4, 5, 6, 7%, and even some decent ones here going 394. And when I say decent, decent for small plays, because this low to this high is a differential of like 10% from this one. And now, of course, you'd be getting a bunch of buys if you're playing short term, and you could be like, okay, buy 382, let's try to sell it at like 394. You're still getting like 3%, minus, of course, any type of rake. But regardless, these coins are going to the downside on a global level. BNB, same thing as well. Steam, Singularity Net, it's all doing the same. Here we have MUI, only price pays. I've been loving this one, and I'm going to finish this off within this. Show this, it's a lot of stuff to go over. I like talking about this type of stuff. So you have this obvious resistance break, and this was a beautiful place to sell, which I did. I sold somewhere up here, and I bought back at like 630 already. So I bought back in here. I had sold this, and I also sold somewhere in here. So my buy, my most recent one, was below my second most recent sale because I sold somewhere here and somewhere up here. So I'll be buying again. Oh, it's decent. It's down here even. It's a ways away. And when we look at this on a different time frame, let's go just even the single hour term. It's not breaking down at that 9 o'clock time like everything else. It's already had its fall from its big high up there. But this daily chart still looking to possibly hang in there. But these moves that can occur over and over and over again, you see having a big break above, and it usually happens to the upside. And then it'll just come back to its level that it was trading at. So it'll have like an uptrend range of some sort and have decent sized breaks above, quickly thereafter retracing back. And the best way to profit from that is to ensure that you're able to get your sales in there and get your quick buybacks as well. But you also want to be safe not to sell too much and lose out on the opportunity where this thing can just go sky high, because you can maybe think that this was up too much and be right, and you get a 773 sale, you'll be able to buy back at like 565 relatively easy, because that's where the 18 highs would have been. And that's a differential of like multiple percentage points, 30 or so percent up the down rate number. And then you could have been thinking that this was up too much. And technically speaking, even though you could have got a better sale, if you sold a whole bunch or everything at 800 and you're now looking at 600, good percentage gain. But there can come a time where you say that's up too much. And the next thing that you know, you end up seeing the price action go up to like 5,000 from where you are in like a day and a half or 3. And you might wait months or a year or if ever for the price to go back to that point. Now, generally speaking, when they have those moves, more times than not, they're going to have a significant retracement at some point relatively soon, especially with these kinds of markets. And on the weekly chart for MUE, we can see there's been some wild up and down moves. So the profitability when you have situations like this, I mean, this is extreme. And I mean, I can't even discredit this. And even here, for that matter, you can look at this spike on this day coming back. I mean, I'm just praying, well, not literally praying for this, but I'm just hoping it would be nice to see movements like this again, where you get just a beautiful up and down choppy action, because then when you just let your automated buy and sells fill in, then profitability is the name of the game. Because before all of that happened, was the market showing any other different stuff that was profitable? Well, it had all the spikes over and over again. So back in the day, when you were seeing when you were playing something that, say, might have hit a buy order, say at 35 in here, you had a buy order hit. Okay, so now the market goes up to 115. So it's just a matter of how much of it that you sold, and then how much of it did you buy back, then how much of it did you sell up here. Did you have days where you were able to sell and buy within the day? Meaning, maybe this particular day when you had a high of 68 and a close of 44, if you sold at 65 and you see the price at 45, that's already a decent sized retracement. So try to find markets that have this type of profitability. This is just what was fantastic types of moves. Hard to find them today, but the times I think are going to be coming, because within the market, I think the bottom is near, not here, but near, meaning maybe it's already hit for Bitcoin, and maybe it's going to be coming later as I represent the Bitcoin chart. But a change of story, of status of the market, is what's going to be needed to bring those types of events going through, where you have a lot of fantastic moves that would chop, of course, both back up and down. And again, any big move has to go up and down, back and forth. And Last year, when this market was going up, it's just a matter of when and how much it's going to pull back. Well, it went up to 20. It's now pulled back for a little over a year now. The high is now over. It's now past the calendar date because that happened noticeably before Christmas. And as I'm presenting this to you, it is 105 minutes until Christmas and 15 minutes for those in Newfoundland, as it's 10:14 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's been a decent correction already, as it's had, again, time a year, length of price, well, 20,000 going to 32. So that would be about a 6x move to the downside. So that is pretty substantial as it is. And therefore, having a bottom now and in time, it could take a while to get above this 18 and break higher. It could do it in months. It can even do it quickly with the way these markets work. But if it doesn't do that, I wouldn't be surprised if we resist these areas in here, make that leg lower if this is a failed move, and then maybe sometime later in the winter into the spring, we may see some action. I don't think we're going to sustain a bear market for a significant period of time, like over a year. A lot of times these main markets, a year and a half, can oftentimes be decent periods of bear markets, at least comparing within historical data, which is like stocks and silver, which is commodities, and forex. It's oftentimes the case, but what happens happens. So I'm just going to play the market out for what it does. When I get opportunities to sell and buy, I'm going to take it. When I got opportunities to hedge anything, or if I have opportunities to do whatever it is, I'm going to take what I can within the market conditions. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great Christmas and holiday. Bye-bye.